Hello, everybody. Welcome to our webinar today. If you're here in the chat, go ahead and say hi so I know you can see us. I'm Emily from GoWP, and I'm here with Nev Harris. It was funny, Nev, when I was getting my notes together for today, I kept writing Nev Campbell, and I couldn't remember, why am I writing Nev Campbell? And then it occurred to me that Nev Campbell is that actress from the Scream movies in the 90s. I don't know if you Are you there, Nev?
Yep, I'm here.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay, cool. All right, it looks like, yep.
I just heard an echo, so I was trying to fix it.
Okay, got it. Is it better now?
I can deal with it. It's good.
Okay, cool. Well, we'll go ahead and get started as people are coming in. Like I said, use the chat. I see we've got Anna here, we've got Robert, we've got Chip, Beth, hello. Thanks for joining. It's been a while since we have gone live here with our community, so it's so good to be here with you guys. We've been busy with a lot of things at GoWP, some internal projects, which you'll all hear about soon. But yeah, and it's summer months, so we've got team members taking vacation and all of that. So I hope some of you all have had some time off also and traveled a little bit. If you have, feel free to share it in the chat. And I hope that everyone's having a great summer, and I can't wait to get back to the happiness hours. We're going to have one at the end of this month, so stay tuned for that. If you are not a member of our digital agency owners community, there's the button right here that you can click that and join us over there on Facebook. And that's where we have our happiness hours, which are live weekly calls. So yeah, okay. Hey, Anna. Hey, Kristen. Kim. Kim, it's good to see you, or know that you're here and feel your presence, I should say. All right, let's go ahead and get started here. Let me just check over on Facebook. If we are not live on Facebook, I'll look into that, but I'm not sure about that, but we should be live on Facebook. Okay, so hey everyone, I'm Emily from GoWP, and welcome to today's webinar, How to Protect Your Profits from Inflation with Nev Harris. Chat's working, everyone sees that, so that's great. And again, if check those comments.
Hello? All right. So it's just me.
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
I can hear you.
Okay. So I'm not sure what happened there. Sorry about that, everybody. Okay. There's an echo. Okay, one moment.
Is the echo on my side?
No. Can everybody hear me now? Perfect. Can you hear me now? Yes. All right. We're going to continue. Nev, you sound good. Okay. Sorry about that, guys. Something dropped with the connection with Crowdcast there. Sounds like. Nev, it seems like you're good on your side as well. Okay. Let's wrap this up real fast so we can get into it. Again, if you haven't joined the Facebook group, the button's right there on the bottom. We'd love to have you. It's a community of agency owners, more than 2,000 of us, where we will get back to holding regular weekly calls on Fridays. We have our happiness hours, so we'd love to have you there if you're not already a member. And if you have any questions about the Facebook community, if you have questions about GoWP, where we like to say we create happiness for agency owners, and help them to become more profitable. So whether you're looking to grow your team with a developer, a copywriter, a designer, or a virtual assistant, or you're interested in outsourcing services so you can focus on growth, we've got you covered. So if you have any questions about partnering with GoWP for our services, please feel free to reach out. So let's get to why we're here today, which is Nev. Nev shows agency owners where the profit is hiding in their business. He went to Pitt and Duquesne. I'm pronouncing that right, correct? Duquesne?
Yes.
Cool. Where he earned an economics degree and an MBA in finance. He has owned an agency for the last 8 years, but has always been an entrepreneur. His down-to-earth take on finance for the agency world has been featured in numerous national media outlets. And you could say he's the guy they call when they want to talk money without putting the audience to sleep. And if you've heard Nev talk before, you know that's true. So I'm really excited to have Nev here with us today to talk about a topic that's on everybody's mind, and that's inflation. It's impacting everyone. So we're going to talk a little bit about inflation and how to protect the profits in your business from the inflation we're all experiencing right now. So Nev, take it away. The stage is yours.
All right. Thank you, Emily. And that was a great introduction. You know, I hate introducing myself because it's so awkward to say a bunch of good things about yourself. But anyways, let's get started here. So the news sounds threatening and all the talk is deafening, but the present situation brings eventual inflation. It's like yin and yang. Wu-Tang said protect your neck. I say protect your profits. I'm here so you could stay on top of it and not have a drop in bank deposits that'll make you hit pause and quit. Because business, it isn't a video game. And if your agency explodes in flames, it would be a shame. So I'm here with the Konami code to keep your profits in beast mode. It's getting ready to load. So up, down, left, right, BA select. Let's start this. That's my little rap because I wanted to start out and have fun. So because we want to keep this entertaining, because finance could be a really boring subject. So I'm going to share my screen now. And okay. Yeah, it's always like great when this thing actually works. So I'm going to play from the start because that's where you start. All right, so can everybody see my screen? All right.
Yeah, looks good, Nev.
So how to protect our profits from inflation. We're going to play a little game to start. I want you to guess what year this is, okay? So it's the year we first met Mario. All righty. MTV launched this year. Princess Di and Princess Charles got married, or Lady Di, whatever. Raiders of the Lost Ark was the #1 movie. The ubiquitous Post-it note that we all have posted all over our offices and all over our computers, and we ignore half the time anyways because we just get so used to staring at our screen that we forget they're even there. At least that's what I do. So I don't use Post-it notes anymore for that reason, except there's a pile in the corner. Anyway, and then Dallas was the #1 TV show. So this year, drumroll please, was 1981. All right. And then when I was like doing research for this is completely off topic, but I just found this to be interesting. A cost of gigabytes data storage in 1981 was $300,000. That's 1 gigabyte, $300,000. And that was like 1981 dollars when a Cadillac costs like less than 20,000. So gives you some kind of not everything stays the same like that. Not everything drops. And then the college football teams that were dominant were Oklahoma, Michigan, Georgia, and Alabama. 1981, 2021, still kind of the same. So let's jump forward though. To the year is 2008. Okay, and a little bit more in the recent future here. And what was 2008 like? Well, WordPress was 5, okay? Facebook was 4, okay? And it was only available for less than 2 years because if you remember right, Facebook rolled out to college kids for the first couple years. So Facebook was only available to the public for less than 2 years. The iPhone was brand new and it wasn't even 3G. So it was like worse than dial-up, okay? And these companies, Instagram, Uber, Pinterest, Square, Slack, they weren't even started yet. They weren't even in business yet, okay? So Now that we've had a trip to the past, I want to take you in a jump to the future. Okay. This is Sally. And this is Sally in December of 2022. And this is Sally, especially after she looked at her profits, her end of the year numbers, and how her agency did. And what she's seeing is she had a really great year. She had her best year yet in sales, but her profit really took a hit. And she made far less this year than she made last year, but she worked harder and did more. So, I don't want you to turn out like Sally. And if you listen to what I'm going to tell you in this talk, we're going to prevent this future version of you from occurring. Okay. So I want to do a little drill. All right. So look at me, not the screen here. This is $1. All right. That's $100 on the screen because I just didn't have a $100 bill. Now, from 1968, we're going to talk about time a little bit, to 1982. All right. This dollar became worth 30%. So that dollar was only worth this much. So, and that's the effect of inflation, because 68 to 82 is a period of high inflation. Now, why I tell you these things, why I went through that whole drill about bringing you back to 1980 and then bringing you back to 2008 is because we've operated in a completely different environment with our businesses up to this point. One, it's been 40 years since we've seen this kind of inflation. And two, it's been 14 years since we've had a real meaningful recession. We had a recession, we had the COVID recession, but that lasted less than 2 months, really. And some of us, a lot of us, had our best years following that. You know, a lot of us did not have a bad year in 2020 business-wise, and we didn't have a bad year in 2021 business-wise. So you can't really say how that, say that you ran a business through a recession during that period. But that makes us think then that, you know, we haven't run a business in this environment. So what we need is a mind shift, because next year, this year, and next year are most likely going to be different than in the previous years. And if we run our businesses in the same way, and if we don't think about things a little differently, we could fall victim to becoming Sally. Okay. And that's what this talk is going to address. Give you some simple strategies that you can implement quickly and easily right now to prepare yourself for continue to have some great years. Okay. So let me give you this analogy story here. So y'all remember like watching, like having like a VCR or a TiVo or a DVR and fast forwarding the commercials before we could stream everything. And it's really funny, like side note, really funny that, you know, TV is going, Netflix and everything is going back to commercials. And it's gonna be interesting to see if we could fast forward to these commercials like we used to be able to. Anyway, so you used to have 3 minutes of commercials in a TV show. All right. And then you had the remote in your hand. And if you press that fast forward button once, you went double speed. And if you went double speed, you got through the commercials in 90 seconds, right? And then, you know, if you pressed it twice, you got through the commercials in 45 seconds. But if you're impatient like me, you wanted to get through them quicker, because 45 seconds was a long time to sit there doing nothing. At least, you know, in my mind it is. So sometimes you would accidentally hit the button 4 times then, and you could get through 3 minutes worth of commercials, because 4 times will get you 16 times faster. So, so you get through 3 minutes commercials in 11.25 seconds. Okay. And what happened? You were well into your show without even realizing it, because by the time you hit that 4th time and you realized what was happening, by the time you noticed the show was on, you were a couple minutes into the show, because it was going so fast that you couldn't react to how fast the fast forwarding was going. So what does that have to do with business, Nev? Other than, you know, walking us all down memory lane like that. So the speed of business just went ham on that fast forward button. And if you don't know what ham means, we're going to keep this PG, but it means it went really hard and went really fast on that fast forward button. So things, if inflation just hit 9.1% last month, and the numbers came from June like a couple days ago, it was 9.1%. Okay. Now, remember this dollar. So in 14 years, with inflation between 5 and 13%, this dollar lost 2/3 of its value. Okay. Now, what if your profits lost 2/3? It would be brutal. And that's how quickly it happened. The last 14 years, we probably, a lot of, you maybe change your prices once, twice, because inflation was so low, costs weren't increasing. We didn't increase our prices much. We should have, but we didn't. So a lot of us. So now if we don't keep up with things, if we don't pay attention to these things, we could get into serious problems. So here's what I say. I say, stop putting your profits on autopilot. Okay. You can't just let things go because, like I said, the last 14 years, and most of us weren't even doing this as a business in 14 years ago. I think I saw some names in here that might have been, like, I know Rob Kearns. I think he might have been doing this back then. I'm not sure though, but I know him from Post Status. But anyway, so what do we have to look at then to stop putting our business on autopilot? We really have to pay attention to our costs, okay? Because our costs are what's rising. And as a business owner, when inflation increases our costs, it's a double-edged sword because we make less profit. So we were taking less money out of our business. But in our personal lives, when we have to spend that money, everything costs us more. So we make less and cost more. So we get hit 2 times by inflation. So we really have to pay attention to the cost of our business and keep up with that. And you're like, Nev, easier said than done. Well, let me give you a quick formula here that'll let you know that, and when I say formula, don't log off. I don't do any complicated math, okay? So, so here's the formula. It's a formula for what's called a net profit margin. You just take your sales, your overall sales. Sales are also revenue. So your overall revenue, your overall sales, all the money coming into your business, and you divide that by your profits, the money you get from your business. And then you multiply that by 100, and you'll get a percentage, okay? Now alone, that's good to know, but it's not going to help us track our costs, okay? But if we track this over time and say our net profit margin, and it's different for different people and different businesses. I'm just picking a random number. So let's just say it's 30%. And then all of a sudden, the next month it goes to 28, the next month it goes to 27, the next month it goes to 26.5, the next month it goes to 25. We know something's going wrong, okay? Because we can look at sales, and if we're still making the same amount of sales, and then our profit's lower, we know it's a cost problem, okay? So we know that this will tell us if we track our net profit margin over time, real easy formula to track. If we track it over time and we see it dropping, we know we either have a sales or a cost problem. So, all right, it could get a little bit deeper than that, but, just for this webinar, just keep track it like that. It'll let you know. So now I want to tell you a story about this deer. Not this deer in particular, but a deer just like this that I happened to meet a couple months ago. It was night, it was raining, it was cold. I was driving to a friend's house on a back road, and I might have been texting him because I was running late because, I tend to run late for things. It's a really bad habit. I know it's disrespectful to other people's time and everything like that. I feel horrible when I do, but anyways, period. I run late. And so I'm texting him that I'm running late, and I don't see this deer, but my car has this autonomous braking system. So it has all these sensors and everything like that. It senses the deer and it starts screaming at me, this loud buzzer, and it slams on the brakes for me. And it keeps me from hitting the door because I start paying attention, and I slam on the brakes even harder, and I swerve a little bit. I miss the deer, and I say to myself, Nev, this is why you shouldn't be on your phone when you're driving. So, all right. So what makes an autonomous braking system work? It's easy, it's fast, but it's deep. It's easy because I didn't have to do anything. I wasn't even paying attention. It's fast because it reacted faster than I could. Okay. And it's deep because it's scanning the whole surroundings with LiDAR, with proximity sensors, I don't know, whatever other sensors it uses. And I don't even know if it uses all that kind of stuff, but it's crazy, all the sensors in that car. One time I did happened in here. I know. Leave me alone. I'm actually a pretty good driver. And it was $10,000 to fix the front of my car. So because of all the sensors, and all I did was bang out the headlight and put a dent in the bumper, but they had to replace everything. So bad driving aside. So what this means for business though, is your profits need an autonomous braking system. Your profits need something that will tell you, like give you a heads up that maybe something bad is starting to happen. Okay. So my favorite way to do that is to use key performance indicators. Okay, now key performance indicators are just like net profit margin. It's a number that you could look at that tells you something about your business. But the key in KPI is the fact that it's a number that will give you a lot of insight into your business. Because let's look at another bunch of performance indicators, because Google Analytics is a whole crap ton of performance indicators. Okay. But, if you've ever looked at raw Google Analytics data, maybe you're really good at this. I'm not. My eyes just glaze over and I'm like, the hell do I make out of this? Should I act on that number? Should I act on this number? Should I act on bounce rate? Should I act on time on page? Should I act on, who clicked on this page? How many, I don't know what to do. So Google Analytics is a lot of performance indicators. What I say is use key performance indicators like something like net profit margin, because when we're using KPIs, they're easy, fast, but deep. And like I said, that net profit margin, good KPI. There's a whole bunch more you can come up with your business. And we could talk about that another time. But I want to continue with some tips on profiting more and stressing less in stressful times. So I want you to meet Jenny right here. Okay. Now, Jenny, she's a rock star developer. Okay. She knows her stuff inside and out, and she's having a great month. And she's going to sleep thinking to herself, man, finally getting the business I've worked so hard for. And then she jumps up and she thinks to herself, it's the 5th of the month. Like I have bills coming due in 3 days. And I don't know if I'm going to be able to pay them. Then I have to pay my team. And she says, I don't know if I'm going to have the money for this. And she said, but this is impossible. I'm having the best month I've ever had. I've just closed 2 massive deals. See, Jenny's problem is cash. And cash is king and queen. So, and that's going into like a recessionary times, inflationary times. We want to have enough cash on hand in our business, because managing cash flow is what sets big businesses apart from small businesses. Okay. Now, I'll tell you a story here about grandma. So you guys might have heard this story. There's a grandma, there's a mother, and there's a daughter, and they're cooking Thanksgiving dinner. And the mother rips the turkey legs off the turkey and puts it into the pot, and the daughter says, Mom, why do you rip the turkey legs off all the time and put them in the pot? And the mother says, because that's how grandma makes it. And grandma says, the only reason I did that is because my pot wasn't big enough to fit the legs in when they were on the turkey. So, it makes us, question stuff that we just take for granted. And let me tell you something in business that we take for granted all the time. It's the 1st of the month. The 1st of the month is like holy in business terms. We even sing songs about the 1st of the month, or rap songs. I always used to call Bone hardcore R&B because that's not really rap. But your opinion might differ if you like Bone. But let me tell you about the 1st of the month. Here's how I recommend managing your cash flow. Is on the first, like, get all your recurring revenue in on the 1st of the month, or the 1st and the 15th, either way. So it could work both ways. So either get it on the 1st or get it on the 1st and the 15th. But for our example, we're going to do the 1st. Okay. Get your recurring revenue in the 1st. Okay. But here's what we normally do. We pay our bills on the 1st because it's the 1st of the month, right? It's like what you do, rent's due is if you have rent and all this other stuff, and payroll, people want paid on the 1st of the month and everything like that. And I say, why are we ripping those turkey legs off? Why are we doing all this on the 1st of the month? I say change it to the 5th. Get your recurring revenue in the 1st, and then pay your bills on the 5th. Okay, and you're like, now if I can't do that, people will have a mutiny. You know what? You tell your team you're to start paying them on the 5th. They might grumble for a month, but then they'll get used to it because it's the 5th every month. Yeah, so they're still getting paid once a month. So, but that allows you to have what I call wiggle room. So, and wiggle room allows us to run our business better, allows us to run our business more efficiently, because here's what happens, and here's what always happens, okay? It's the 1st of the month, and you're expecting your recurring revenue to come in, you're expecting checks from clients, and there's an expiration date on a credit card that doesn't go by, or a client's out of town, or somebody's late on a check, and they make their problem, their mistake, now your stressful situation. Because now you're thinking, I was counting on that money. I have to pay my bills and I don't have that money. Well, now if you do the way I'm saying it, you have 5 days to figure that out. You're getting on that phone to that client and be like, hey, I need this updated expiration date. Or that maybe you need to move some money around. Maybe you need to do some other things like that. But wiggle room is the key to stressing less, especially in stressful times. Okay. And a nice thing to do that, here's another tip to go into recessions, to help get through recessions and help deal with inflation and all that kind of stuff, is have a reserve account. And how much should be in your reserve account? 6 months. Have 6 months worth of expenses in your reserve account. And that is a nice way to get through things. Now, it's not always possible to just start right out with 6 months. I understand that. So I've done some talks. I've actually done a talk for GoWP. You can look it up on cash flow that you could look at to talk about all sorts of other techniques. So, but moving on. So I wrote an article for Business Insider a couple years ago on what I call the business stress test. Okay. Now, I'm not going to go through it all here, but you could look up this article if you want to read it. It's what it'll tell you is it's going to let you know how many months you could run your business without any new sales. So if things happen to get out of hand with a recession, inflation causes people to start spending less money, because that's kind of, does inflation cause a recession? Recession cause inflation? Either could cause either, or one could not cause the other. So, but that could happen. So a business stress test is something very good to do to know how many months that you could run your business without any new business coming in. So, and then here's the formula for it. So, and like I said, we're going to jump through this for time's sake. Now, peanut butter. Why am I talking about peanut butter? Now, many might have seen my whole blog post on peanut butter that I wrote. It was kind of funny, and here's a quick tip on that blog post. I wrote that with my GoWP copywriter. She's a genius. I highly recommend. And I'm not just saying that because it's a GoWP webinar. So, but yeah, it was really funny. I was, I think, because we voice chat back and forth. And I think I was making a peanut butter and jelly sandwich because if you know anything about me, I love peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. I'm a little kid. Peanut butter and jelly sandwich and a glass of milk. That's my jam. But and I was eating, and I think I was complaining about natural peanut butter because it's so gooey. And then we just created this whole, blog post about it. But anyway, so why am I talking about peanut butter in this context? Because peanut butter has a fascinating story behind it. Okay. And the fascinating story behind peanut butter is there was a consulting company over in Germany, okay, that worked with a peanut butter company back in the 80s when there was inflation and everything like that. And other peanut butter companies were deciding whether to either lower their price, raise their price, lower the amount of peanut butter in the jar, and or just to keep up sales, because costs were increasing. And they came up with this genius solution, and it was so genius that both Coke and Pepsi, had to sign non-disclosures because they both agreed to sign off to work with this company. Okay, so it's quite a fascinating story. But so the genius solution they came up with was that, not so genius for customers, but genius for the company, was they put the dimple in the bottom of the peanut butter can. The peanut butter jar. And that dimple then allowed them to keep the jar the same size, but have less peanut butter and keep it at the same price. So same size jar, same price. So when it was on the shelf and it was compared to other peanut butters, like you got just as much peanut butter, but in a smaller jar with the competitor, or you got the same size jar, but you paid more money, but you actually got more peanut butter. So, and they ended up taking a lot of market share in the peanut butter industry from the competitors because they came up with it. Now, I think that's a little slimy. That's actually what's called stealth inflation, when you're getting less, like orange juice does it all the time. Like a gallon of orange juice is now 52 ounces. A half gallon of orange juice is now 52 ounces, or, the candy bars that used to shrink to like the snack size candy bars are now what the bite size used to be. But the thing here, the business lesson here is rising costs can kill profit, but so can rising prices. Okay. So if everybody else is feeling the pain you're feeling and you're raising your prices, they might not be able to afford your services anymore. So, but you can't but if you don't do anything, your rising costs can kill that profit. So what I say, here's a solution. So look into this. Keep your prices the same, but remove some of the parts that are driving up the prices. So, you're not putting a dimple in your peanut butter, which is kind of deceptive, but what you're doing is saying, in the past, we've piled in all sorts of things into our products to give added value. Well, maybe that plugin that you were using, is gone way up in price on its license. So if you remove that plugin that, was just kind of an added nicety extra that most people didn't use, but, it helped sell it because they thought, oh, I might use that one day. So you can remove that and keep your price the same. And then you could always upsell if they need something like that. So look into all your costs and look into all the pieces of costs that make up a product and see which ones you might be able to take out. And if you want to keep your prices the same. So, and here's another story that I really want to get through to you. It's really important here is lower margin products like gas stations. Okay. We have gas, the price of gas is crazy right now. All right. And we always look at the gas station and we think the guy running that gas station is making a killing right now, because we hear of Exxon and all these Russia making a killing on high gas prices, being able to support that war. You have the Saudi Aramco, the Saudi Arabian oil company. That's the second largest company in the world, and all these things. But the guy that runs the gas station, he makes 2 cents per gallon, no matter what. The price is $1, the price is $6 a gallon. He's making 2 cents a gallon, okay, on average, okay, because he's buying gas as a commodity and he's just marking it up and selling in volume. Okay. So the thing about that is low margin products, when you're making 2 cents per gallon, low margin products, you need to change the price fast and sell massive quantities. And that's a gas station. That's a model perfect for a gas station. Gas prices could change intraday. It could be different in the morning than it is in the afternoon. It could change day to day. And they have to do that because if they wait a month to change their price, they could get killed because they have such a low profit margin. They could lose fortunes. Okay. So what we need to take from this is you are not a gas station. You are not a gas station. So do not be in the low margin product business. Okay. So, we want to watch our costs and really understand our pricing, because our costs are such a big part of our pricing, because our pricing has to cover our costs and then provide us profit. And if our costs creep up, it kills our pricing. And then if we get into a low margin business, like in a lot of us, we have 10 different products that we sell, 10 different services that we sell. And, they all made money here and there. And in the last 14 years, it was easy for them to make money. We didn't really have to pay much attention because in the end, they were all making money. They were making a little money or a lot of money. But now those products that or services that were kind of profitable might actually start costing you money. So we really got to stay out of the gas station business. All right. So the next thing I want to tell you about, and I'm going to tell you about what I call the 10-20 drill, but I want to talk about Tiger Woods, and not really Tiger Woods, but the golf swing. And now when you stand up to hit a golf ball, and like, even if you think golf is boring, which I kind of think is boring to watch, I like to play. But when you stand up to hit that golf ball and you stand in front of that ball and you're about to hit the ball, you're thinking about something. And if you're a professional golfer, the one thing you are not thinking about is your swing. Absolutely not. You might be thinking about your target. You might be thinking about like a swing thought, like just smooth. You might be thinking just about the shape you want the shot to take, but you are not thinking about your swing mechanics. Okay, you're not thinking about how you're bringing the club back and what you're doing with your wrist when you come down. Like you are not thinking like an amateur golfer thinks about that stuff all the time. Professional golfer never. You know why? Because he's already thought about it. So when he stands up to hit that golf ball, the one thing he doesn't have to think about is his swing because he's already thought it through. All right. So this is what I want you to think about. I want you to think about the 10-20 drill. So I want you to think about, what if you had to run your business on 10% less and then run your business on 20% less? 20% less sales, 20% less costs, 20% less profit. And you're thinking to yourself right now, you're like, Nev, you're absolutely out of your mind. This is crazy. I cannot do this. Okay. It will sound crazy. And you will not be able to figure it out the first time you think about it. But keep on thinking about this, and in a week or two, when you're in the shower or when you're driving or when you're just doing mundane stuff, when your mind is just wandering, and maybe spend some time at work, when you're working, just take some time and just looking through stuff and thinking about, what could I do to run at 10 and 20% less? And then just like that golfer who then stands up to hit that shot, and he doesn't have to figure out how he's going to swing that club when he stands up to that ball. If this problem happens, you'll have already thought it through, and you'll have gotten rid of the initial emotional bad ideas, that we normally come to. And what do people normally do? They cut marketing immediately, and they cut people, and then what happens? You cut marketing, you normally get less business. You cut people, you normally have, when things turn around, you can't be there for it. Or when things don't get that bad, you can't be doing it, or you end up spending your time doing it all, and you can't spend your time doing the stuff that grows your business. So maybe that's what you have to do after you've thought about it all, but you at least have thought through all this. And the lesson here is prior proper preparation or prior proper planning prevents piss poor performance either way. So I know this because my dad was in the military, and he used to say this when I was a kid. And I think I remembered this, and because I always laughed, because I was a little kid, and he would say the word piss, and that was kind of like a swear word when I was a kid. And my mom would always yell, "Ron, don't say that in front of the kids," and I would laugh and giggle and everything like that. I didn't know what it meant, and but yeah, I got a kick out of it. So, but the point here is, be proactive, not reactive, because when we're put in reactive situations, we don't make great decisions. When we're proactive, we've already thought through, and we could be reactive, with like our golf swing, and our mind just takes over and says, I already figured this one out, Nev. I got this. You don't have to figure this out. You don't have to react to this situation. I've already figured it out. Here's how we're going to end it. Here's how we're going to do it. All right. So, here's some key takeaways. Okay. So, and they're coming in all at once. All right, well, they're not all coming in at once, but what we want to know from what we want to take away from this talk is to know this: an inflationary environment, it magnifies mistakes. Okay, so if costs are rising like 9.1%, everything like that, like I said, like the fast forward button, we used to be able to go a couple years without raising our prices or without really worrying about our costs, without worrying about this. We were able to just coast with our business. In this environment, we cannot coast. Okay, so controlling our cost, because inflation is an increase in costs. Controlling our costs is absolutely key. Okay, and to do that, you need a system to monitor your profit. Okay, and key performance indicators, KPIs like net profit margins, do that very easily for you. You don't have to spend hours digging into that stuff. You can just look at numbers and take 5 minutes, look at some numbers and know, okay, things are going good. Okay, red flag. All right. And then we want to manage our cash flow, because when we manage our cash flow, because cash is king and queen. So if we manage our cash flow, we'll have the cash to get us through some rough spots. All right. And then the last one is be proactive and not reactive. Think through this stuff. So, and those are my takeaways. And now I promise you a silver lining to all this, no matter. So here's the silver lining. So if you implement even half of what I said, you will have a stronger agency at the end. So whether inflation gets bad or inflation goes back down, whether we end up in a recession or not, whether we're in a recession right now or not, that's debatable. But if you implement this stuff, you will have a stronger, more powerful agency at the other end of this. So the other thing is, wow, bullet points just flying everywhere. So if you do the 10-20 drill, you could have a war chest. All right. So, and what I mean by a war chest is, so if you thought about this kind of stuff and then a great idea comes up, okay, so then you'll know where you might be able to cut things to be able to invest in that idea, because you're already thought through where you could get 10 to 20% more in your business. If your business stays the same and it doesn't drop, you'll know that, hey, look, I could cut some fat here, I could cut some fat here, and I'll have more money, maybe to fund that reserve account, maybe to invest in a new product, maybe to, hire a new person, whatever you need to do, you could have a war chest. So we say everything levels off and everything just turns like great from here on out. Okay. Then you'll have that war chest. If things get bad, you'll have already thought about it. So, and then the last one, and kind of stole my thunder coming up here, is all those companies I mentioned in the beginning that weren't around in 2008, they started in 08, 09, and 10 during the Great Recession. So, because the recession, I always say it's like a forest fire. It seems devastating, and it can be, but then the result of our forest fire is fertile, fresh new ground for all sorts of great things to grow out of. So, and if you do this, you have a stronger company, you know where to get money, and there will be a lot of opportunity. Okay. So I have a couple special offers for you. So one is I have 2 courses offering right now, and I'm giving you 50% off those courses with the code GoWP. I thought we had 3, but we took the one down. So I do apologize for that. But so yes, I have 50% off the courses. There's a course on the 7 questions you need to know to understand the financial health of your business, and a course on financial fitness in 5 minutes, which goes really into depth in helping you craft your company's KPIs. So, and then I'm working on a new resource for these times, for inflationary and recessionary times. And I will give you advanced access to it. You'll get it for free as soon as we're done if you go to nevharris.com/GoWP and sign up for it. So you'll get it ahead of everybody else completely for free. So if you just enter your email address there. All right. So and it doesn't put you in a sales funnel or anything like that. So don't worry. So I think you'll just get a follow-up email saying, hey, thanks, we'll get back to you. So when we're done. So, all right. Well, thank you. I am up for all sorts of questions. You could find me on LinkedIn, and Twitter, and the website, and I have a podcast. So yeah, we're revamping some things with the podcast. It's pretty cool. So I think I have at this point 48, 49 5-star reviews on the podcast. So it's gone really well. So all right. So that is my presentation, and I will open it up to any questions you have. Any questions on anything? So
awesome. Thank you so much, Nev. That was a wonderful presentation. And for folks who didn't grab the link, I did put it in the button at the bottom of the screen there, so you can grab the discount code and the advanced access there with that grab your discount and advanced access button along the bottom of the screen there. And I'll be sharing that out in the email that I'll send later today or tomorrow, which will link back to this recording and all of that, so you can have access to all of those. If you forget to grab it now, it will be in your email. I do want to, we also have the giveaway for our live attendees, and this giveaway is for a free consulting call with Nev. A real deal consulting call, not a sales pitch disguised as a consulting call. So Nev is very adamant about that. I'm sure none of us are familiar with that, right? So I've grabbed the folks who are here live, and I will randomly pick a name now for that free consulting call with Nev. And the winner is Chip Edwards. Chip, you're a winner. Chip has won all kinds of things in our community. He's just a winning kind of guy. So Nev, you know Chip, right?
Yeah, Chip. I haven't seen you in a minute on the GoWP calls.
Yeah, it's been a while. So Chip, I can help connect the two of you. I'll send an email to both of you if that's all right, and you guys can take it from there. Cool. So there's our winner for that. So that's awesome. And we will also have a winner that will do the drawing after the webinar today, because I'm going to get the list of the full registrants, because we still Nev's been super generous with this webinar, and he's also going to be giving away a course of their choosing to one of the registrants. So we'll grab that winner after this. Okay, so if anyone has questions, I've been watching for them. I don't see a lot coming through. If you have questions, you can post them in the chat. There's also the Ask a Question feature down there. Let me check over. We did have some friends watching over on Facebook, so thank you to everyone who watched on Facebook. And again, if you're watching this recording later and you have questions or comments for Nev, he is in our Digital Agency Owners Facebook community, so you can tag him over there. You can reach him on Twitter, on his website, all of those places that he shared earlier. So if you have questions for Nev after the fact, he is, as you'd suspect from the presentation, a very nice, friendly guy who's happy to talk to you. so reach out to him, and you can get your questions answered then as well. So yeah, seeing no questions, Nev, I want to thank you so much. This is a really great webinar. I learned a lot from it, and I love your webinars, because I was thinking about this when you did the previous one with us as well, which I linked to in the chat. It's things that are applicable to business, but also in our personal lives as well, right? A lot of the things you can apply to your business, you can also apply to your family finances and that sort of thing. So it's just great financial advice all around, and I love that about how you kind of guide us through finances and kind of sometimes scary and stressful things that you take the stress out of. So I appreciate that. So thank you.
Thank you. And I'm going to be, if you like some more just random thinking on that kind of stuff, I'm going to be writing some articles for Post Status.
Awesome. Wonderful. Yeah, so, fantastic. Yeah, will that be over on their?
They're not going to be. What's that?
Will that be over on their blog, or do they have a special place?
Yeah, it's just going to be general WordPress, kind of like thinking about like issues in the WordPress community, some analysis and thoughts on that. So yeah, that's so awesome. I was just talking to them over there, and we had some ideas. So they don't really go with the whole profit and like the whole Nev Harris brand or so, but I had these ideas that I wanted to share, and they're like, let's get these blog posts right. I was like, yeah, cool. So it should
That's
be
awesome.
interesting
That's
stuff.
fantastic. Yeah, Post Status is a wonderful, wonderful community and a resource. And I know that they have some special offers for agency owners. I know that they want to embrace the agency owner community as well. So if you're interested in joining Post Status and have questions about how to do that, or if it doesn't fit in your budget or whatever that is, I know that they're very open to that. So reach out to the team over there if you're not already a member of Post Status. It's a great place to be. But it sounds like you'll be writing for their blog, so everyone should have access to that. So that's great. That's wonderful. Cool. Well,
Yeah.
Without any questions, we will adjourn this webinar today. Thank you so much, Nev. Thank you everyone who joined us live, and thank you if you're watching this recording. If you are watching the recording, you can continue to add comments to the chat and ask questions in here. We do see them and we get notified about that. So thank you everyone for joining us. Nev, have a wonderful rest of your day, and we'll see everyone next time.
See everyone.
Bye.